Alright, we are on page 56 of our journal today. Hopefully you watched yesterday's video and turned in the assignment that went along with it. We also, on Thursday is the last day of the 6 weeks. I will not be here at school physically on Thursday. There will still be an assignment sent, but be sure, and it won't be a long assignment. Just be sure that you check for it. If you have any questions, though, I won't be available to answer any of them. Thursday is also the end of the 6 weeks. I'm still missing a lot of stuff from some of you online, so be sure you're taking care of business. All right, so let's look at, today we're looking at volume of spheres. Volume of spheres. All right, so let's look at example 1. We will be looking at 6 examples in our journal. All right, so you're going to draw a circle. So if you want to get a circular object so you can trace it, that's fine. You can use a glue stick would work. It's a nice, I have one of the bigger glue sticks, but it would work. So if you want to get that. So you draw a circle, and then you do a little swoop, and a dot in the middle, and then a little dotted line around the back. That's how we draw a sphere. All right, so a sphere is not a prism, it's not a pyramid, because it has no bases at all. It has a very different formula than all the other ones. It is 4/3 pi cubed. Okay? Nope, sorry, pi r cubed. Whew. Okay, so 4/3 pi r cubed. And I'm going to show you how to do this even if you don't have one of the calculators we have in school. Because, yes, our calculators are very handy, and that's easy to put into one step, but I understand not all of you have a good calculator. So we're going to start with drawing a little radius of 4 here. This is example 1. All right, so we're going to have our volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay? Now, I want to make a note to myself. I'm going to make it up here. R cubed means R times R times R. It does not mean R times 3. All right? So, V equals 4/3 times 3.14 times 4 cubed. Now I'm going to show you how to do it on the calculators that we use at school, because STAR test, if you take your STAR test, we can talk more about that if you want, then you will be using these calculators on that test. Alright, so this is the calculator that we use in class. It's called a TI Inspire. Alright, so we're going to do 4/3, so I'm going to do a parentheses, 4 divided by 3, close parentheses, times 3.14, so times 3.14, times 4, and we're going to use that little arrow next to the x squared. It lets me do any exponent I want. So we're going to do a 3. I'm going to push equals. And we get a volume of 267, and we're just going to put 0.9. And that is our volume. Now I'm also going to show you how to do it on a simpler calculator, because obviously we don't all have that kind of calculator. Alright, so I'm going to use my phone calculator and show you. Alright, so on my phone, when you turn it sideways, you get a little bit more options. I do have a Samsung. I do not have an iPhone, but iPhone's the same way. You can turn it sideways, but the buttons may look a little different. So I can do the same thing I just did. 4 divided by 3 in parentheses, okay, times 3.14 times 4, and you should have this button that says x to the y. See it? I'm going to hit that, and it's going to let me do an exponent of 3. I have to close out that parenthesis that it created for me, which equals, and I still get the 267.9. So it doesn't matter if you have one of the fancy calculators or if you just have your phone calculator. It still works. All right, let's look at example 2. We're going to put example 2 right below it. So again, I'm going to draw a circle. I'm going to do a little swoop. A little dotted line going the other direction. Kind of makes it look like an eye. Put a dot. And put an 8. Okay, I'll give you a second to get that down. And because most of you will probably be using this kind of calculator, I will use my phone calculator to demonstrate it. Alright, so we're going to do, volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. So I'm going to do 4/3 times 3.14. My radius is 8 cubed. So I'm going to clear that out. Parentheses 4 divided by 3 is 4 divided by 3 is the same as 4/3 times 3.14 times 8. I'm going to use the x to the y to get my 3. Close my parentheses, and I get a volume of 2,143.6. All right, let's look at example 3. Example 3, I'm going to draw a circle. All right, but this time, once I draw the circle, I'm going to erase the bottom half, because we're only going to look at half of one. All right, so I'm going to put a dotted line kind of going around. And we're going to look only halfway. And I know that is not the best drawing, but we're looking at half of a sphere. It's called a hemisphere. All right. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to find the volume, but when it's a hemisphere, so we have the word hemisphere, which you've heard in science, in maybe science class, or history class, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. It means half a sphere. So I'm going to work the problem the same. So I have 4/3 pi r cubed, volume equals 4/3 times 3.14, and that is a radius of 7. So I'm going to do my 4/3, 4 divided by 3, times pi times 7 cubed. And push equals. And that gives me a volume, but then I need to do half of it. So I'm going to do divide it by 2. I'll take that number, push divide by 2, and I get a total volume of 718.01. Oh, sorry, went off page. All right, hemisphere is just doing half of it. All right, so we're going to scroll back up to the top of the page, and we're going to look at example 4. We're going to draw a circle. We're going to do a swoosh, a dotted swoosh, and a dot. But this time our line's going to go all the way across. Okay? Give you a second to get that copied down. right, so this one gave us a diameter of 12. We want radius. Our formula has a radius in it, so I'm going to change it and figure out its radius, which is half of it, which is 6. So I'm going to do volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. So volume equals 4/3 times pi 6 cubed. So go back to my calculator. Sorry, turn it sideways. And I'm going to do parentheses 4 divided by 3 times 3.14 times 6 cubed. And I get a volume of 904 32/100ths. All right, let's look at example 5. Drawing another sphere for us, and we're going to put 22. So give you a minute to get that copied down. Actually, I'm going to slide the paper real quick. Alright, so we're going to have volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. So volume equals 4/3 times 3.14. But did I have a radius? I did not. This is a diameter. My diameter was 22. So my radius is going to be half, 11. So 11 cubed. That is not 11 times 3. Big, big, big mistake. So clear this out. I'm going to do 4/3 times 3.14 times 11 cubed. And I get 5,572.5. All right, last example that's going in our journal. Draw a circle. Okay, I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to erase this bottom part. It's a little bit better drawing than my last hemisphere. A little bit better. Maybe not that great. Maybe not that much better. Draw a line across it. That's going to be 10. Give you a minute to get it down. All right. So I'm going to remember that I'm going to do a hemisphere as a half. And this is a diameter I was given. So I want to do a radius of 5. So volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. All right, so I'm going to do 4/3 times 3.14 times 5 cubed. Again, I'm going to put it on my calculator. 4 divided by 3. I encourage you to every time practice doing it on the calculator, because the more you practice it, the more it just becomes, we call it rote memory, which is the memory that it just happens. It just, you can do it without even really thinking about it. So that's my volume, but I've got to do half. So I'm going to divide that by 2 to get 261.7. So that's my volume when I halved it, because it's a hemisphere. So we're going to do half of it. All right, so That is our journal pages. We're also going to do some practice. So for tomorrow's class assignment, I'm going to send a teens assignment that has questions based on that journal page and based on this practice that we're about to do. So we're going to do some practice pages. Sorry, it's taking a while to clear up. All right. So let's look at these. So what I want you to do is I want you to try number 1 on your own. So you're going to try number 1. Now, I have 2 students that you are not virtual at home, but you're watching this video for other reasons. And this paper was sent to you to do on Friday. So you may need to ask for this paper from the teacher that is with you right now while you're watching this virtually. Now, I know that doesn't make sense to those of you at home, but hopefully those 2 that have a special situation where they're watching this virtually but aren't virtual, hopefully they know what I'm talking about, where they can get this paper from. The rest of you, I have sent this to you, so you can either write it on notebook paper. I'm not taking it for a grade. I'm not taking it up. You're not going to turn it in, but you're going to answer questions on it. So, not that most of you don't have a way of printing it, so just do it on notebook paper. It's probably easiest. All right, so we're looking at spheres. So I want you to try number 1 on your own. I'm going to give you the formula, though. All right, so I want you to go ahead and try this on your own. Pause the video and push play when you're finished with it so we can discuss it. All right, so hopefully you attempted it on your own. So we're going to do 4/3 times pi times 4 cubed. All right, so I'm going to do 4/3, 4 divided by 3 in my parentheses, times 3.14 times 4 cubed. And I'm going to get 267.9. 267.9. And this was inches in units. It's going to be inches cubed. All right. I want us to remember that spheres are not prisms or pyramids. They're neither. Okay? Spheres are not prisms, and they're not pyramids. Spheres have no base. So spheres, sorry I keep saying that wrong, don't have a base. That makes some really good warm-up / test questions. So putting that down also makes really good questions for your assignment that you'll have tomorrow on teens. All right, so let's look at number 2. We have volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. I want you to try number 2 on your own and push play after you've worked it out. All right, so hopefully you worked it out. And now we're going to do it together. We're going to look at the answer. All right, so we're going to have volume equals 4/3 times 3.14 times 12 cubed. All right, when I work all that out, I get 7,234 I'll just put 0.56, and it's going to be feet cubed. All right. I want you to go ahead and try number 3 on your own. And as always, I'll write the formula though, because just to make sure. But after you finished it, I want you to push play so we can go over it. All right, so hopefully you have completed it. This one, just looking at it. So I'm going to use a little bit of my reasoning skills. I'm going to say, man, 22, I've not seen a radius that big yet. We worked with smaller numbers, and you can see as my radius got bigger. So if 12 was 7,000, then 22 is going to be pretty huge. So we're going to have 4/3 times 3.14 times 22 cubed. When I put that in my calculator, I get 44,579.6. And yes, it keeps going on, but let's just go to one decimal. Yards cubed. All right, we've got some without words. So what I'm going to do is 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. If you want to do those on your own, well, I'm going to make it mandatory. You have to do 4 and 5 on your own. Have to do 4 and 5 on your own. But 6, 7, and 8 will be extra credits on the assignment. So if you decide to do 6, 7, and 8, it will count as extra points on your assignment that you have tomorrow. So I want you to go ahead and do 4 and 5 on your own. I'm not going to give you those answers. You're going to have to work them out on your own. And then 6, 7, and 8 will be extra credit. Tomorrow, your assignment is going to be to answer questions over this and the journal. So be sure that you've taken good notes, written down what we've done. As always, if you have any questions, send them. If you send them on Thursday, I might see them, I might not. We're going to be traveling, so I will try my best. I'll be the one driving, though, so maybe not. You'll have a Good Friday and a good Easter and a good weekend if I don't talk to you before then. God bless you.